Hello there, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, once again, aka the Armchair Philosopher. I I've noticed the pattern of videos I usually, in some of the videos I've been looking at, have been talking about the whole man-woman thing, and I have to at least say this, that men have done their crimes, but so have women. And I think it's disingenuous on either side to try to place blame on the other side for their mistakes. Like, hey, I know we as men have our shortcomings and we have to change certain things that we do. But I also want to point out that women have their shortcomings and need to change some of the things that they do. Now, much of my commentary is my own personal observations, and I don't mean to get vitriolic with my commentary because it's not really what I'm about. I'm really just trying to give you a glimpse of my perspective on just what's going on out here in this world. And I noticed one thing about men and women, why we cheat. Why is it that we have a good, perfectly good relationship that many lonely and unattached people are longing to have, and you, the one that has it, takes it for granted and steps outside of the relationship to deal with someone else? Now, many point to an unmet need. I know people have talked about that unmet need, whether it's you're not fulfilling me spiritually, sexually, financially, whatever the case might be. So, more often than not, when we have an unmet need, we try to get it fulfilled elsewhere when we feel we can't get it from the primary source. And I've often wondered if someone who is in a relationship goes out and cheats, why don't they just end the relationship, since the relationship did not mean that much to them for them to stay true to it? And sometimes we'll use the whole unmet need thing as a justification, a rationale for stepping out on the relationship. And this is something that I've really just been looking at, and partially why I've been slightly gun shy about dealing with a relationship myself, is what if I don't satisfy this person and then this person decides, hey, I'm going to go and seek it elsewhere. So here I am, the fool, because they're doing stuff behind my back that I don't know about. Or vice versa. So my whole thing is, why don't you just leave? If you feel this need is so unmet, and yes, we can argue that, well, I've invested so much time and resources and energy into this particular relationship, I don't want to leave it. But aren't you doing that by stepping out on the relationship and looking elsewhere? Obviously, this person doesn't mean anything to you, and that all you're thinking about is yourself. And this is another one of those alien concepts that I don't understand. Just like the being with 8 tentacles and 7 eyes and 20 legs, I can't understand it. Or people use the rationale that just because I can, or even the rationale of I'm a man and I must have as many sexual experiences, many notches on my bedpost, as many women to play with, because that's in my nature to rut about. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I think there are pressures for a man to have a myriad of sexual experiences and conquests, but I don't think that's biological necessary. Yes, the man biologically wants to plant his seed and continue his species and continue his line and his genetics. But we're also human beings that can think, reason, have free will. We are free moral agents. We have a frontal lobe that helps us do those things on the biological tip. And on a religious tip, we definitely have a duty to the Creator to not be that way. So I've never really understood the whole idea of stepping out on a marriage or a relationship. If you've really put the time and the effort and the work into that relationship, and you really feel unfulfilled and there's that unmet need hovering over you, then get out. Don't leave the other person hanging, because that's cruel and that's sick and that makes you a sick, psychotic, you know what. But that is my piece. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care.